Can I ask you to go and sit with the backs to it?
Right, let's go through the process again.
Yeah.
On this agenda, I've identified 36 items that are of a general parish council nature and that are not financial.
Yeah.
We'll go through this. We'll go through it all again if we want.
No, just.
I was elected to represent the people.
Stuart, we know this.
And if I'm going to be stopped from discussing 36 items on this agenda, something needs to change.
Right. Can you just answer me this then?
Right.
Why is it that when Mr Beavers was here at the last finance meeting, you sat and said nothing under so you couldn't be seen on camera? Why has it changed tonight?
Right.
At last meeting, Mr Beavers was here, so you couldn't be seen to be naughty or do anything silly. And now, when he's not here, and you're in full view of the rest of the public, you're determined to put this meeting into...
No, right. Let me explain why I sat over there.
Well, you sat up there because you didn't make any objection. Why didn't you sit here?
I haven't disagreed with you yet. I'm going to explain why.
Right.
If you just you ask me a question, so let me answer. Right. If you've been observant over the last few weeks on the financial meetings, on more than one occasion, I've actually sat with the audience on a finance meeting. And the reason I've sat with the audience on a finance meeting is because on that particular meeting, there was only finance on the agenda. The ones that I stay here for is when there's general issues of the council.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah,
right?
You can, sir, but it doesn't talk to the fact that you're not a member of this committee.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you to go and sit down
Right.
there.
So
you're refusing to go down?
Let me ask you another question then. Why is it that when you're asking me and the other chairs, by the way, we haven't elected you as chairman of the finance committee.
I know, we haven't, that's coming next.
Right. But why is it you're asking me to leave the table, but you're not asking other councillors who are not part of the committee? You're not asking them to leave.
Well,
that's discrimination.
Well, there's nobody else here.
No, I'm talking about at past meetings.
What, you're talking about Steve Baker?
Steve
Baker was invited because
right.
he cannot speak, he cannot
So
vote.
the question is then...
Right,
the question is, why are we inviting one councillor who's not a member of this committee to attend the meeting, and then you're discriminating against another by barring him from the meeting?
Because we've voted not to have you, Stuart, and that's all there is to it.
Right, but
anyway,
it can't work like that, because that's called discrimination.
We're going to have to have another chairman, because our chairman is not here. Now, I'm not prepared to do it and listen to this rubbish, so I'm going to propose...
Right,
Clive,
now we're starting to throw insults. You just said...
we are.
You're implying that I'm talking rubbish. I think you need to apologise. I think you need to apologise.
I don't apologise for anything, Stuart.
Well,
What you're saying is rubbish.
Well, there again, you see,
I didn't say that
as chairman, you should have a bit more decorum.
I didn't say that you were rubbish. I said what you're saying is rubbish.
Maybe you ought to act a bit more like a chairman instead of a child.
I'm not prepared to be chairman either, but...
Nobody's there prepared to be chairman.
Regardless of that, Chair, this isn't a finance committee, it's a finance and general purposes. The general purpose is important because it relates to anything that relates to the council, which is everything on the agenda. If Councillor Thornton remains around the table, I'll be leaving the meeting.
Right. My intention is to represent the people on issues of the parish council that they elected me to represent them on. If it was a purely finance meeting, I would sit in the audience, and it's not, so I'm staying.
Well, we need to get the checks approved.
Can I just come in again, Chair?
So we've got to have a chairman.
Chair, can I just come in again? What happened last meeting was they were going to close the meeting because I refused to get off the table. And what actually happened is Councillor Dalton, who was chairing the meeting, she actually opened the meeting. Then there was a discussion and an acceptance and a vote on accepting the cheques, and then she closed the meeting. I was sat on the table for the whole of that time, therefore I was involved in that meeting. So technically, you opened a finance meeting while I was present, and then carried on business, then closed it. So what's the difference?
Well, we don't have to do the same thing now, because I intend to...
You can do what you're sat in the chair position, you can do what you want. If nobody's going to chair the meeting, well, the meeting stops. But if nobody's going to chair the meeting, you can't blame me if there's no one wants to chair the meeting.
Chair, would you be happy to chair the meeting so we can approve the checks? I'll move that we approve the payments, but for the rest of the meeting that we don't need to do.
There's a simple solution, Chair. You could actually turn round and say to the clerk, maybe we ought to identify items that are of a general nature and move them into the main council meeting. That's your problem solved. But if you choose not to, don't talk over me, please. But if you choose not to, then it's you that's holding business up, not me.
You can't calibrate around the rules. The rules are the rules, and you are not willing to stick by them.
Well, I abide by the rules more than most councillors, including yourself.
Will somebody propose to drive the chairman then? And second, all in favour? Right. Item on the agenda to approve payments.
Move it, Chair.
Right. Anybody second that?
Yeah.
All those in favour? So I propose that you become chairman of the meeting.
No, sorry, not taking it on, Jim.
No, right. Anybody else? No, right. Well, that's a call then.
Shall I take it on? I'll chair the meeting.